live, girl. Hello, we're live now. We're live.
Now I know that
We probably were live before. It's hard to tell, honestly.
You never know.
With the YouTube way when you go live, it's difficult to tell.
we just panic dance until we know.
Until we know for sure.
I see people talking in the comments about reviewers, assuming it's about us, but it only came in halfway through, so we don't know what you're talking about.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Rapid Reviews, our live monthly roundup. If you're watching this, if you're watching this after the fact, thanks for being here. If you're here live, make sure to pop off in chat and say hello.
See, I just did the Tigers.
Like Tiger Man just did. Thank you so much.
LL.
So, nonetheless, we're here going to be doing some rapid reviews. We're going to talk about everything we played the last month. As always, we're going to start off with all the new stuff we played. Then we're very, very quickly going to go through all the old stuff that we played. And we're going to just talk about them.
We're going to pop off, say our piece about these things.
Yeah.
And, we had a month of gaming because we went to BGG Spring. So that always, any month that has a convention is going to have like a little bit more going on.
It's going to be good. Yeah.
So we got a ton of fun out there in
a ton of fun out there in
Tejas
in the games. So it was very, very good. Got to play some new stuff, some stuff that we've really been wanting to play, like both of these. Molly House, we got Fate of the Fellowship played. Both of which we also have first impressions over on our Patreon. So if you want, I guess the only kind of actual reviews that we do, if they're even considered to be reviews, our first impression over on our Patreon. Also, the very beginning of this Rapid Reviews, we always talk about all the new patrons we got last month.
New
patrons
should get some new patrons
shouted out. So we got Nick Crescent, Abduram Kalouf. Sorry if I said that wrong. Alex Wenner. Nathan. Cisco Kid. Cisco's here, dude. Nicholas Betts and Athena Yao. Thank you so much for being patrons over the last month. We really appreciate you.
Hello in chat. We got a lot of people. We got Dave Phillips, we got Tyre Vamp, we got Now Barry up in here.
Yeah.
We got Evan, we got the Kitten Thief themselves, Dads and Dice. So many people that we hanged out with last week are right here.
Indeed. Some of the people we got
Good to see
to hang out and play games with are right here in chat, which was wonderful. What's up, Frode? But yeah, so we're going to talk about, again, they're always in alphabetical order, just so that's also so you know. So yeah, and then afterwards we'll do a little Q&A. So if you have a little Q you want to ask, wait until we're done with the reviews because it'll be back in the chat. Yeah, and so it's kind of harder to find. But nonetheless, so I should go and get, we had 69 hilarious games, and I think we had 21 new games. So let's go ahead and get into it.
What up, Charlie Bill? How you doing, man?
What's up, Magic Landscapes? Glad you're here for your first live.
Hey, yeah, come on down.
We love to see it.
Just for anyone asking and stuff, we don't have like a strict schedule in terms of like what's necessarily happening, but we stream at 10 typically
generally
on Fridays.
That is the
10
plan.
Pacific American time.
We probably should make it like a Tuesday because I feel like if we're ever going to a convention, a long convention, we're gone on Fridays.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But
we could talk about that. Yeah,
it hasn't really needed.
Happy to have you here. All right, let's talk about these new games.
Let's talk about these new games, indeed. Okay, so Mike, you played 6 NIMT?
I did. This is like a classic game. This is one that's on Board Game Arena, and I'd never played it before, and I was invited to a game. Don't forget to talk about we had on the Patreon. Well, as we mentioned, we had first thoughts on Molly House and Fate of the Fellowship.
We got Q&As, stuff we do.
Supplemental
top
10s, including 10 more game categories for video games and a board game that goes along with that category.
Yep.
Our main video for that dropped this week as well here on the channel, so do check that out, please.
Yes, indeed.
So 6 NIMT is like a classic card game where you are... I think the cards are 1 to maybe 100 plus or something like that. And you are adding cards to these various rows. And basically, you don't want to be the person that completes the row.
Yeah.
If you add the last card, and the cards are sort of organized in generally ascending order, or at least within the row themselves.
Yeah.
And if you complete a row, you have to take a card. And those are all going to be negative points against you. So you're trying to play in such a way that you force other people to take cards. And you don't take...
Quite mean.
Any for yourselves, and you're kind of trying to stay alive as long as you can. And I found it to be interesting. It was fun. Yeah.
I feel like I played this. Who'd you play it with?
I played it online with Rainer.
Okay. So I feel like I played this like maybe Jeff and Jamie or something like that.
I think you might have.
I feel like I played this game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're trying to I
remember it being, it's pretty mean, right?
It can be.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, 6 NIMT. Someone said, not impressed. Come back and give 7
NIMT.
No, 7.
Oh, you're only playing 6 NIMT? Nerd. Okay. All right. We got a baby in chat.
7-minute ads.
It's my first time.
You got to play Ahoy.
I did. I did not know what was happening.
This is the part of the rap reviews where Mike admits that he was just clicking on stuff on BGA. And honestly, I love that you do this. And I love that we get a little taste of being what is it? It's the clundability.
Clundability of a game.
Yeah, there's
or whatever.
someone named Clund, I think in the Board Game Barrage Discord, where they have a whole ranking of clundability games on BGA. Basically, what clundability means is that you can just figure out how to play the game by clicking around.
Trying stuff in BGA.
Just
specifically
trying stuff,
BGA.
Yeah, specifically just clicking on stuff to see if you can figure it out. So there are games with really high clundability, which means you can get the game by clicking on. There's games with really low clundability. I'm guessing this would be one of those.
Yeah, Six Nimmt was more of a high clundability. This one was lower. I did okay, but like it was one of those games where I played with Jeff and Jamie, and I was like, oh, okay, well, I'll accept the invite, and I'll read it, and then I'll finally play it. And then at every like turn, I was like, should probably read it after this turn. Then I take another turn. I'm like, gonna get to that book in a minute here.
Yeah, right.
Gonna take this first turn real quick, and then the game ended. But I sailed around. I put troops places. I was the mollusk people.
Okay.
And I put cards into a plan, and sometimes dice were involved, and I don't know what the difference is.
Cool. So check back in when Mike's actually played the game.
Yeah.
But I love there's always one or two where you're like, I have no idea what was going on in this game.
I don't know.
It's great. It's one of my favorite parts.
I'm willing to try it again, but I should probably read the rules.
Hey, you are.
Probably should be a rule.
You got to play Alchemist. So I played Alchemist for the first time, I believe, last month. I played it with Jimmy.
Yes,
and then
showed me.
I now showed
after.
you this game afterwards, and you, I feel like, kind of had a similar take as we did.
I think so. I feel like I'm probably more mid on it.
Yeah.
I'm like take it or leave it. Simply because there have been. This is a game that felt like it shows its age pretty badly.
I think so too.
And like it's a fun. First of all, I had a fun time playing. It's a deduction game where you're trying to deduce the kind of alchemical properties of these various elements or elemental property or whatever it is. And then there's like, worker placement to facilitate this, and you're trying to sell potions and do these other things. And in the time since Alchemist release and probably paved way for a lot of these other games, things like the Search for series, the Search for Planet X and Lost Species have come out, where it's more about a logical deduction. And there's kind of varying rules. And I'm like, oh, I just want to play that. Because, like, all the other stuff in Alchemist, I'm like, I don't care. I don't care about this. And you got to make sure you sell some potions sometimes. I'm like, who cares? I just want to play with the deduction part.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed it, but I'm not racing to go back because I'll just play so many other logical deduction games.
Yeah, I think I like it more than you. We talked about this last month, and me and Jimmy and Mike now too have talked about this a lot. We're like, I would really love to see a second edition of Alchemist.
It needs it.
Because I think all of the kind of problems I have with Alchemist are the things that are kind of clunky and just kind of like, this is just how a lot of, especially CGE games work. I think kind of like Dungeon Pet's the same way. There's just like so much going on. I'm like, you could have streamlined a lot of this.
Yeah, and I would love just on a pure graphic design level.
It's just cleaning it's kind of a mess, which is again was kind of the style back then. I personally really like the look of those games, but I understand they're not for everyone. But like this is a game where I would love to see a second edition because I think it could be incredible. And some of the stuff they did with my little Alchemist, my first Alchemist, whatever it's called, the kids one that just came out last year,
is more focused on
it kind of fixed something like, cool, I want you to apply this to the main game. I think I would love Alchemist second edition. Alchemist, this one, I'm kind of like, it's fine. I'd rather play other deduction games. Yeah.
Enjoyable, but now where I kind of hit, it's like it's a one step too far game. I'm like, honestly, just beef up like the deduction part and like strip away some of the rest.
There's a little too much going on.
But it was enjoyable for sure.
Yeah, and man is like, I just wanted deduction. I'm like, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I just want the deduction.
And we have so many games now that are just that.
Yeah,
and
more
I'm
or
like,
less pure.
Great.
Yeah. You played Carson City?
I did. I played a couple games at Carson City.
Yeah.
I really enjoy it. This is one that I need to play like in person because like this one I did read the rules for prior to playing. Ooh, and I read the rules. I'm like, okay.
Can we get some for Mike and chat?
Look at me go. Look at me go. I was like, okay. I was not doing this physically. I was doing this with a mouse.
Of course.
But I was reading it, right? I was reading it, and I was like, okay, got the rules. I know how the things work and stuff. And then, like, as I'm playing, I'm like, how do I score points?
Right.
And I think the only way to do it is to get money and then basically spend money for points, which is one of the actions you can take. And so I'm like building up stuff and doing things. And I enjoy everything that's going on, but I'm like, I need to play this in person to like be able to really visualize and lock in like how one does stuff well in this game. But I like it. It's a game where you're all kind of like building out onto this grid, and it's worker placement. So you're going around taking actions to get certain buildings, to gain roads and stuff, and do all this stuff. The spaces on the board are all available for sale. They're parcels of land, and so you can buy stuff and then build things on top of it. Or if something's already built, or there's like a mountain, for example, you can then buy the parcel, which is cool because like if I buy a mine, you want to put it adjacent, meaning the 8 spaces around it, to mountains, because that's where you're mining from, and that will increase the income you get. But then if I buy the parcel of land that has a mountain, it takes that away from you.
Interesting.
Because like, well, this is my mountain.
Yeah,
and I'm like, I really like a lot of that stuff. It's definitely one that can get spicy.
Oh, I'm sure,
can be,
yeah.
if you're going for a parcel, I can put a meeple down for a parcel, and we'll have a duel for that space and stuff, so it can get a little spicy meat to ball. But I really liked a lot of the stuff in it, but I'm like, haven't quite understood just strategically like how to turn stuff into points. In my second game I played with Jeff and Jamie, I did better on that. I was like, I think I need to do these things.
Yeah.
But I need to play it again.
I've always heard such good things about it. Yeah, so.
Yeah.
Cool. What's up, Rosie?
What did I do, Rosie?
We played Critter Kitchen. We played this at BGG Con
Sure
with Our Family Plays Games. Stan's Grant. Grant was playing something else. But yeah, we played with Mick and Starla, which was 2 of our favorite people, and so it was great. We always play. We usually play something with Mick and Starla, but it tends to be like really quick card games. So this time we were like, we have to sit down and we have to play something that's like at least an hour long. Like we have to do it. And so you've been really wanting to try Critter Kitchen.
Yes.
And they were kind of like, hey, we know Critter Kitchen. And we were like, Mike really wants to play that. So let's play that.
I saw a lot of people in particular at BGG Spring playing it. I was like, man, like I want to see what's up. And especially I was curious after Flamecraft.
Yeah.
And it's obviously very pretty as well. But like Flamecraft for us was so light. I'm like, I don't know if it's really something we need to get into anymore. But I was curious about this one.
Yeah. How'd you feel about Critter Kitchen? I'm torn. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it by any stretch of the imagination.
We had a perfect experience with Mick and Starla because it's a game. It's a shopping game. It's a game where you are
getting ingredients,
simultaneously choosing locations where you're going to put your workers to go collect ingredients as you are. It's very set in the almost like Food Network world, but animals, where you're doing these food challenges. You're trying to present these dishes throughout the game. That require certain ingredients and stuff. And the ingredients are be like carrots and mushrooms and stuff, but they will have different values 1 through 7. So you're trying to get the best version of the ingredients. And you are simultaneously choosing locations because you'll see all the ingredients are available at each of these spots. You will then reveal where you're placing your workers and then carry out stuff. So I enjoyed all of that.
Yeah, I really
at a higher player count, like 4 players.
Yes, and if you're just ribbing each other for going to the same place.
It made it so fun.
And you have 3 different sizes of workers. So if you're your little worker will go first, but only can take 1 thing. Your medium worker will go second, essentially, and can take 2 things. And your big worker can take 3 things, but they're always going to go last. So it might be a situation where, I put my big worker there, but then, Mike and Mick put their small worker there, and so they're going to take the things because they go before my big worker.
Yeah.
And that part of it I liked.
Yeah. It felt kind of History-o-ish, where it's the location choosing. Yeah, I enjoy that kind of thing in games.
Overall, I liked it, but this is a game you want to play at 4 because you want the contention for the different ingredients.
Yes, you have to have it.
Because at 2-player, there just wouldn't be that interaction, and that interaction, in my opinion, is the game. The rest of the game is it's fine, it's there. You're just getting ingredients and then putting them on plates to fulfill these little orders.
Yeah.
So to me, it's that's the entire game, in my opinion, is that location selection.
Yeah, the sort of trying to outfox your opponents. I'm going to go to this one location, and we had it several times in ours where everyone went to that one location.
Yeah, we're
everyone thought, I'm the only one who's going to think about the desert.
Everyone sent their big worker to or there was one time particularly where me and Starla sent the exact same size of workers to the exact same 3 places. And we were just Starla. She's like, Nick. And I was like, Starla, what are you doing? That was really fun.
That was the best part.
That's the entire game.
Yeah.
So at 2 players, there's just not nearly as much of that. So to me, it's this is a 4-player or nothing game for me, which means we would just never play it. Yeah. I did like the game kind of more than I was expecting it to. I thought it was going to be like Flamecraft, where personally I think Flamecraft kind of gets by on its looks, and there isn't
I don't think there's
tons of game there. I'm not a huge fan of Flamecraft. This one I definitely liked more. But to me, it's 4-player or nothing. But I did enjoy it. And so, but it was interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, I was in the same boat of the table talk and
That's
the
a
group
huge part of it.
experience really carried this. I don't think I need to seek this out for myself because like when would we have the player count and everything to
And here's the thing.
facilitate that?
I'll tell you something about Mikey. Mikey gets it in his head that he wants a game.
Yeah.
And you get like, I have to have this
I
game.
was there with
Mikey
this.
was about to buy like the $100+ Kickstarter version of this
On
game.
site.
Super glad we played it first.
Yeah.
Because I think both of us were like, I don't need it. Because you were
It's
both
not
like,
bad.
and I was just like, hey man, do you, baby? If you need it, you need it, you know, kind of thing.
I got real frothed up about it.
Yeah.
And then that's why you try before you buy.
Yeah.
You know?
Did we play the expansion? Broken? I don't think so.
No.
I don't believe so. Broken Beard. You got to play
know what that is.
For the Win,
For
which
the
is
Win.
this game is named this because
German stuff. I don't know.
It
needed an F.
It needed an F name because it's Freedom to Freeze. Yeah, you
and it's a fairly themeless card.
Yeah, 100%. This is a little Freedom to Freeze card game.
Yeah,
you played
so
the first time.
it's it's a game where it's really interesting actually, and it's definitely more like strategic and stuff than it first seems because it is a fairly light game. But it's a game where you are shedding cards from your hand by playing something higher than what has been previously played to the pile in the middle. Playing a higher card. The cards go, I think, 1 to 48 or something like that.
35, yeah, somewhere in there. It's the
46,
mid-30s, 30s and 40s, basically, yeah.
And ideally, what you're hoping for is to have, if you get rid of all your cards, that's best or something?
Yeah, I think so. You're trying to get rid of your cards.
Yeah, you're trying to get rid of all your cards or all but one card is what it is. Because at the end of the round, when someone gets down to one card, your highest card will be your positive points, and then any other cards you have in your hand will subtract from that number. And if you only have one card, then you get its face value, which would be ideal. And so it's a fun kind of like, you're really trying to play like the mid cards out of your hand to keep the extremes, but you also need to beat what's at the table, which means you need to often play those higher cards or start by playing those lower cards to get them out of your hand. So
when you can also reserve cards that are like in the pile, and you basically put it, and you can basically play a card and add that reserved card to it to increase it to be able to beat something. So like that's a big part of the game. But when you do that,
that also resets the pile.
Reset the pile, so now the pile is 0 again, so people can start playing again. And it's this really interesting thing where it's like, you need to keep ideally one really, really big card and then one really small card, because I don't think it's minus everything. I think it's just the difference between those two cards.
It might be the
so if you have like 35 and 1, your score is 34. If I remember correctly, that's how it goes. And so, or if you just have one card, then it's just that. But it's like you want like one really low card and one really high card, because and so it's a really interesting little puzzle. It's not the greatest little card game, but I do really like it a lot.
I really enjoy the stuff that you're doing for what it is, like, because it's one thing that seems like, I don't know, then as you get in, you're like, oh, okay, I need to be doing this, and that was cool. I like that a lot.
Yeah, it's a good little card game, and it's team like tiny little thing. So we played the Juicy Fruits expansion.
We sure did. This has like a few modules that you can add in, and I think we played with everything. I think all but one thing maybe. We mixed in a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, because they're pretty small.
And our feelings on Juicy Fruits were like, I think still held now with this expansion, but it's like, man, I really enjoy the mechanical idea of like the slide puzzle of Juicy Fruits, because what it is, you have this board and you have these baskets and you collecting types of fruit. And when you slide your banana basket, for however many spaces you can go before bonking into the edge of your board or a rock or something, that's how many of that fruit you collect, which is super cool.
Yeah.
And you're doing contract fulfillment with these kind of boats that are surrounding your board. There are also buildings you can buy. And the game is, I don't know, it just sort of, it's just something that we enjoy, but just didn't have that many plays in it.
Yeah.
But we got the expansion, which adds some modules, which are...
it's like a little board where now you move your little people on this board and you're trying to like land on specific spots and stuff like that.
Yeah, so you can like basically move...
Just other ways to like score points.
One of your pieces, and then your explorer will kind of mirror that. And I enjoyed that aspect. So like the things that were added are cool, and none of them are super impactful and make the game heavier than it is, because it is a family weight game. And I enjoyed the stuff in it, but it's still,
it changed nothing for me with Juicy Fruits.
Juicy Fruits is a game that like we enjoyed for the few plays we have, and then I'm like, I'm probably done with that.
Juicy Fruits is like literally, it's like one of the top games for me that like I really, really want to love.
Yeah.
And I just like.
Yeah.
I think the mechanic with the slide puzzle, I really want that to show up more, because I think it's a really interesting way to do things, especially gathering resources. I just wish it was in a game that I just enjoyed more. I love the look of
Jimmy,
juicy
get on
fruits.
it.
I love the big chunky fruit that you can get, these big wood pieces. I love everything about it. I don't find the game to be that compelling. This expansion made it slightly more interesting, but not that much more interesting. But I'm just like, it's one of those games where I'm like, oh, I want to love this so badly, and I'm still kind of just like, it's all right. And so yeah, so the expansion unfortunately didn't change it. We've had the expansion for a while.
Yeah.
And then randomly, I think we had like a free
free
hour
time
at work, and we were
or-
like, hey, let's play a game. People think we just play around and play games all day. We super do not. And so
Not for recreation.
we had
as
like
much as we'd like.
a little bit of time. We're like, let's play a game real quick. And then we were like, let's try this Juicy Fruits expansion.
Yeah.
It was all right.
And I'm not mad that we played
No,
it,
not
but
at
I
all.
was just like, all right, cool. I'm good.
Yeah. Oh, this is that. What's it called? This is that bird.
Oh gosh,
The
Charlie, if you're here,
trick-taking
help us
bird
out.
game. This is the trick-taking bird game.
Cockatoo, as Jimmy pointed out, looks like parrot, like Ninja Turtles.
It really does.
This is a trick-taking polyomino placement cooperative game.
Yes. Boom. Get wrecked, y'all. Boom. Yeah, this is a game where we are playing out cards, and the cards have numbers on them and suits, and the suits are just colors. And there's piles of polyominoes matching those colors.
Yeah.
And basically, whoever wins the trick on that card, there is going to be one of the polyominoes in that color.
Like the yellow 7 will pertain to a specific tile.
A specific one. And then you basically have to then take that tile.
Cockapoo, yeah. Buddy
Cockapoo,
and party.
that's right. Buddy and party, that's right, yes. And then you have to put it around, and basically there are these birds on the main board, and you're trying to surround those birds because you're trying to take pictures of them. It looks like you're shooting them because of the crosshairs, you're taking pictures of them.
Yeah.
But no, you're trying to surround them, and that's you getting it in focus or theme or something like that. But and then there's many, many different missions that will add like more birds, which is just more things you have to surround. So a lot of times it has that, hey, we need this specific color to go right
to touch
here,
this part.
and we need this specific shape too. So like we need someone with like the 4 blue to win this one.
Yeah.
And so it's really, really interesting. I thought it was fun. We kind of played a bunch of different rounds of it, kind of going harder,
like
and harder,
different
and harder.
escalating difficulty
Yeah,
missions.
I have no idea if this game's available at all, but it was fun.
I don't think it probably is, but it was really cool. I
Yeah.
really enjoyed it, and yeah, it gets very puzzly. Especially like the first mission was like one bird, like easy. Then all of a sudden the second one you have 2 birds.
Yeah,
and
you
then
also
they
can't
start
put
to. You can't put the same color next to each other.
So there's puzzle stuff. Where
Yeah.
you're like, oh, okay, how are we gonna do this?
Like, oh, if we put this here, we lose. Okay, we can't do
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
And so like, yeah, it was very cool.
It's interesting. Yeah, I liked it. It was good.
Yeah, and using trick taking as well. Kokeshi is a game I've played a few times on Board Game Arena. This game is really interesting. It's a fairly light game, but it's kind of cool. It's this game where you are choosing these little pieces. There's 5 or 6 colors and columns that go with it. There's like a little sumo person, a little, like rice farmer and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And you're choosing to move one up, and you're moving up onto these tiles, and these tiles that you move onto are going to give you an option of like, okay, now you can move the rice farmer again, or the old lady. And then if you choose the old lady, you'll move her up on her track. Ideally, you get them to the end of their track and they step off of it, and that's going to allow you to add a new tile. And so what you're really trying to do is you're trying to build like synergies where it's like, I'm going to move this, that's going to bonk this person up here, which is going to move this person up here, which is going to move the sumo again, and that gets them to the top of their thing. So you're trying to like chain together these actions, and the whole game is kind of centered around building that, so you can kind of do. And the higher up you build and stuff, the better. Certain things allow you to bump up these animal tracks, and those are kind of interesting because you want to get to like the third from last step is the highest value, then it starts to go down in value a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
So you're trying to like dial that in. It's fun.
Yeah.
I really like it. So it's a cool game for sure.
Seems
So,
cool.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I had no idea what it was before I started playing. I was like, okay, right on.
Yeah. Wow.
Jeff, I don't recall that.
Jeff's in chat.
Jeff's out here being like, oh, remember when he lost? Remember when he scored 9 points in one round and put the fear of El Lordo in Jeff? Yes, I do too. I remember that, Jeff.
We played Fate of the Fellowship.
So good.
Finally, well, not finally, it's not really available yet, super available.
I mean,
but
but finally in the sense that we've been waiting for it to release.
And so we got to play some BGG Con. We played this with our good friends Lincoln and Nikki, some of our BGG besties, because they had played it and they know that our gateway game into the hobby was Pandemic. We're massive Lord of the Rings fans. There's always Lord of the Rings stuff around us, and so this is once this game came out, so many people messaged us being like, "Oh my gosh, are you excited?" We're like yes. And it was, it's
So
freaking 10 out of 10, y'all. I mean, it's so good. It is like, it's most like Pandemic Fall of Rome, if you've played that one, where it's cooperative, obviously. Your Pandemic, you're different members of Lord of the Rings. There's like a whole bunch. You'll be playing 2 of them. So you can play like Gimli and Merry and stuff like that. Or you're like Frodo and Sam, who are 1, and Boromir. A little spicy combo, but you know.
Not bad.
But nonetheless, you'll play 2, and then you essentially have 4 missions you're trying to do. One of the missions will always be destroy the ring, because it's Lord of the Rings, right?
The main mission.
But the other 3 missions will be totally different, and there's like 25 of them in the game.
There's a fat stack of those
And like
missions.
one of them was like we needed to turn Isengard, Saruman's stronghold, into one of our safe havens and have no troops from Rohan, no enemy troops in Rohan.
Yeah.
And that was one of the missions. And so the missions are going to massively change what your priorities are in the game, other than also destroying the ring, which you also have to do.
Yeah.
And so like it really changed it up. But then on top of that, one of the coolest things, and if this was really the only change, it still would have been awesome, not to mention all the other really great stuff. But basically, like what is the equivalent of the infection deck from normal Pandemic, that's going to be bringing out more of the Shadow Army troops and then moving them around. Basically, you're going to flip over a card, and the top part of the card will move certain troops on designated paths, and the bottom card will usually add more troops and a lot of times move the Nazgul around and kind of search for the ring and stuff like that. But which one of those happens depends on what the art is on the card on top of the deck.
Yeah.
So the art on top of the deck.
There's 1 or 2 back.
Yeah, there's 1 or 2 backs. One of them, if it's like the orky looking one, that means you're going to move stuff. If it's like the Nazgul one, that means you're going to do the bottom half where you're adding troops. And so even once you get your kind of epidemic, which is called like Shadow Rises or something, and you shuffle up your deck, put it back on top of the deck like you do a normal Pandemic, it's still going to be different every time because the backs of the cards won't always be the same every single time. It was so much fun. It's really hard. And it's, bro, I don't know. It's like a 10 out of 10 for me.
Yeah.
It's so good.
It's got that great DNA of Pandemic, and then the changes that it makes. Like the other thing that's kind of cool is you can just pick up troops and stuff because there's various troops from the dwarves and Rohirrim and stuff that you can populate the board with. And then other characters, you can just pick them up and travel with them. And I also really dig that.
Yes.
That feels very different.
The
variable nature of the shadow deck is really cool.
All the different missions, all the different characters. Pairing up different. There's like suggested, hey, you should put like Legolas with Frodo and Sam because
we played with all of the recommended starting,
Yes.
which if you're playing on BGA, like the default for it is the version we played, like
Yes,
the pairings
yes.
of characters and stuff. But you can mix and match.
You mix, and that'll be probably really change up the
Yeah.
game because of the fact that different characters do different stuff. And Linneo is saying it's like I need to play Fate physically on BGA. It doesn't click. You were also saying it's a tough BGA, right?
There's a lot going on, and I do think it's kind of hard to track everything on BGA for some reason. I'm enjoying it, and I've played it a couple times now, so it's getting better. But I do think it's probably easier to get into and learn the game physically.
Yeah.
And then go to BGA because it's just a lot. It's hard to see what all is happening. For some reason.
It's
so good.
It's so good.
Yeah.
It's insane, y'all.
We played Minecart Town.
Oh, Minecart Town. I was like, what is this one? Yeah, that's right. We played Minecart Town.
This was an interesting one.
Yeah. So, gosh, what are you doing in Minecart Town? I can picture it.
It's sort of like Keyflower-y, where you are placing tiles, right? Are you drafting tiles?
Why can't I remember this game? Why do we
You're
play
placing tiles and stuff. You're trying to maneuver resources around a certain thing.
Oh yeah. That's right. So
production.
you're getting okay. For some reason, like I could picture us where we played it. But I couldn't picture the game. Now I remember. Yeah. So basically, there's going to be a market of like A, B, and C tiles, which are going to be various production buildings or buildings where you can essentially send stuff to gain points.
Yeah.
And basically, when you're getting these tiles, you're going to put them in your kind of ever-growing little tableau of tiles, and you can get kind of these productions, these building tiles, or you can get railways, and the railways have to connect through them, and you have to have railways kind of in between the different tiles
to be able to
transport stuff around. And so there's like a production phase every round where like all your production buildings, like this one produces like 2 wheat, this one does some coal, this one does some sheep, and then you can basically move them around to these different other buildings that will then you can then turn them in for points.
Essentially, you can produce 2 of those wheat and this to make bread, and that'll be just translated into points. So you're trying to generate stuff, move them over to things, produce with it, spit out points.
And you go like that. And so you're basically trying to build this out because you want these buildings because that's how you get all your stuff, but you also need to build it out in a way where you can connect it with railways. And then on top of that, you are using these resources to buy these buildings. So the buildings might cost wood and stone and these various things. So it's kind of this nice balancing of trying to get stuff to places where it's going to score points, but then also trying to have resources so you can get more buildings and build more railways. It was a fun little game. I liked it a lot. Sorry, it took me a second. I was like, I can't picture the game on the table. And then once you were like, I was like, okay, now I can picture literally the whole thing.
Linnea, it's Minecart Town, the most memorable game ever. It's a translation, I think, from Japanese or Korean. But it might also just be a boring name in that original language as well. But it definitely did help going through the translator.
I was like,
I don't know, there's mine carts in the town.
So I did enjoy it. I thought it was fun. It was an interesting little puzzle that you're doing. And then there's kind of like the tiles kind of get better throughout the game and stuff like that. It was cool. It was an interesting thing where you're kind of building out your thing, producing resources, trying to get them where you need them, and then scoring points. And so I did enjoy it, even like I couldn't remember for a hot second. I was just like, oh my gosh.
Board Game Queen says Mike is like an even better Lee Bryce or Brees, and I don't know who that is, but thank you so much. I'm gonna look them up and dunk on them.
Unless it's a
for being
huge insult.
It could be.
It could be a huge insult. No idea.
So it's like, you're better Charlie Kirk. I'm like, no, I'm not saying
Oh
that.
God, I hope not.
Don't want that.
Jeez.
Boom. Molly House.
Molly House.
Boom.
Indeed.
Molly House.
It's back there. Yeah. We didn't play that version, but we played.
Translates to Trolley Town. That's a better name. That's more fun and quaint. I feel like.
I guess so. Yeah.
But you're doing mine carts.
You are.
You know. Molly House is what we're talking about now.
Also a game about mining.
Nabari in chat and Super Rat Creature in chat played this with us, and they guided us through our first experience with this.
Yeah.
This is he's a country singer. Okay, cool.
Oh, cool.
Right on. I'll look up. My middle name is Lee. It's spelled differently, but I'm basic. Maybe I am the same person. Maybe I'm Hannah Montana.
Maybe you are the exact same person. Yeah, dude.
I
hope so, because then we're gonna have a lot more money.
Yeah, country
That'd be
music
great.
Money. Come on
now.
Molly House is a really neat game.
Yeah, really interesting.
Our experience of it, and we picked it up so we could cover it on the channel. And this is a game where Nabari like had a whole spiel and explained it. Your kind of like teach of the game was so perfect and really like infused the sense of the theme in ways that I was like really appreciative of.
Yeah.
But we are in England back in the day.
I think 1700s, I think. Yeah.
1700s, Gregorian England, London, I think. And and we are, part of the LGBTQ community in a time where that lifestyle was really not accepted. We still have more work to do on
would get you killed.
Letting people live lives how they want because it doesn't matter. But in this time it was
at all. But yeah,
you weirdos. But it was really not accepted. And people were really kind of trying to root out and expose this community. And it's a competitive game, but it really feels very cooperative.
It's semi-co-op is what it is.
Semi-co-op. Like it's really
because the whole point of the game is you're trying to get joy. That's
your victory points.
That's your victory points. You're doing that by throwing
seeking
parties and different kinds of parties depending on what kind of cards you have. These 4 different Molly houses. So you're kind of
it's a roll and move.
It's got a roll and move in it, y'all. It's got roll and move.
Good roll and move game. Who knew?
Yeah, I still don't like roll and move. It's one of my.
There's mitigation at least.
There's mitigation at least. Yeah. Don't have roll and move in your games. But nonetheless, you're going through these Molly houses and you're basically putting on these parties, and that's going to give. Basically, how well you put on the party and stuff like that is going to give you joy. And you get individual joy, but there's also community joy.
Yes.
And it's semi-co-op, and in my opinion, more co-op than anything else.
I think it is more co-op than
because if the community joy doesn't get to at least 30, I think is what it was, everyone just loses. Yep. So you can't just be like, I'm just going to do me. It's like, you can't do that. You have to work together.
Yeah.
And then basically, once you get to that 30 points, then whoever has the most joy wins the game. I'll tell you right now, I don't care who wins the game. I just want I want us all to win. I want to get to 30 joy. To me, that's the game.
Yeah.
Because you can openly discuss about what's in your hand and stuff like that.
Because when you're throwing these parties, it is facilitated via card play, where you might need to have
a lot of the same number,
straight, or a flush.
So be like, I have 2 3s. Let's play 3s because then I can put forth 2 cards to that. So you're openly talking about what you have, and you can lie because you can kind of go against the community in the game. But like for the most part, it doesn't really behoove you to.
No.
So you're working together. So to me, it's like this is just a cooperative game.
Yeah.
And that's just how I view it. If you technically win because you had more joy than me, good for you. I don't care. I like the cooperative nature. I actually really enjoyed the game.
Yeah.
I thought the mechanics you were doing were really, really interesting. And as a, and I've already said, it's 75% co-op, 20% competitive, 5% potential trader. Because yeah, one person can turn against the community. It is always a choice to do so. You're not like given a role, be like, oh, you're the trader card. You can do so. I personally would never do that. And I personally, we've had discussions about this a couple different times. I just kind of wish it wasn't in the game. I wish some kind of trader mechanic was part of the game and not someone playing the game doing it. But I totally understand the perspectives of the other way around because that kind of stuff does happen a lot.
And I kind of feel like it wouldn't come up that often.
Yeah,
I would assume
it's kind of a desperation move.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, I really liked it. I liked it as a co-op game. I will always personally play it as a co-op game. And as that, I thought it was really interesting, and I'm curious to try it solo.
Yeah, and yeah, me too. I really want to try it solo, and I enjoy games that are that way, where it's like we all are hoping to thrive. Like that's the goal: is the community thrives and is safe and you know thriving in their life. And if I just happen to have a little more of a joyous time, I eke out the victory.
Sure.
I'm like, that's great because it's like. And there's other games that are like that are, you know, it's just like we're all trying to do the stuff good, and if I like have contributed a little bit more than I win, those games are always cool, and I dig that idea of sort of working together.
Personally like that in games, but that's a personal preference. I'm just like, to me, I'm like, I just don't get the point of that.
Sure.
Like, let's all work together 90% of the time, but then I win. It's a mechanic that I fundamentally don't like in board games. I'm not gonna not play the game because of it. I just don't care if you beat me because we won. That's all I care about. And so, like, but yeah, Molly House was really, really cool. I really enjoyed it.
Looking forward to playing it
and
again.
yeah, I thought it was, yeah. And so, yeah, good stuff.
Chester Nabar for taking us through, showing us the way.
We had played Nikosu Dice.
We did.
I played
While
this.
eating tacos.
Yeah, well, we were eating tacos.
Great.
We were eating wonderful tacos, and I played Nikosu Dice, which I played at Dice Tower West and had been kind of raving about it. And so, yeah, we played it. So why don't you talk about it? Because you was new for Mikey.
Yes. Because you played Dice Tower West, like you said. So this is a trick-taking game where you have cards and dice that can be used to play in these tricks, which is really, really neat. You are going to roll out these dice that are different colors. Obviously, they will roll between 1 and 6. And then you're going to take turns drafting these dice. And then there'll be one die that's left over. And that becomes sort of the tie-break trump thing where it's like its color, its value are going to be the most powerful things in the game. And they're kind of in a tier. I think if I play a card, say that it rolls a 2, right, that leftover die. So if I play a 2, it's going to be stronger than any of the other cards.
That's considered to be the trump suit.
The trump suit is the 2. And then the next best thing would be if you have something that matches the color. And if you play like a 2 yellow, that is the ultimate card. Like that's the unbeatable card because that matches that die exactly. So it creates all these levels of like what will beat other things.
There's so much to pay attention to.
There's so much to pay attention to because what's interesting is we all have cards in our hand. And I of course, don't know what cards you have. But I can see your dice.
Yes.
I know what dice you have. So I'm like, okay, well, at the very least, I shouldn't play this because Nick could just put a die out instead of a card. You can play a die or a card for the trick. So you have some information, and I think that's really interesting about like when and how you spend your dice. You get rid of them early, do you get rid of them late? And one of the dice you draft, you must keep.
Yeah, it'll be your last.
And whatever the value of that die is your bid for how many tricks you're going to win.
Yeah.
So
if it's a 3, you need to win 3 tricks.
Ideally, you win 3 tricks, and then at the end of the round, you see like who all hit their goal. If multiple people hit their goal, you basically split up, I think, 40 points and stuff like that. If you're the only one who hits your goal, that's the best situation because you score all these points. But if like I see you're getting toward your goal, I'm going to try to throw off to mess you up and have you take an extra trick.
Yeah,
it's so hard to hit your goal. It's so hard to hit your goal. I hit it one time, I think, and then I think we
all did it once. Yeah. It's so hard.
It's really fun though, man. It's really interesting.
It's really interesting, but it's as far as like trick taking games go,
very different.
It's very different. It's really heavy for a trick taker. It's still not like, it's not Feast for Odin heavy in terms of complexity, but just like the amount of stuff you have to pay attention to. You have to pay attention to like, oh, Mike doesn't have any more yellows left. Or like you're looking at their dice. Because so often you're like, oh, I play this, I'm going to win. And then Mike goes like, I have this die. And I'm like, oh God, I forgot to look at your dice too. Crap. And then you're trying to draft out good dice. You're trying to keep dice that you think you might be able to hit that bid. It's really difficult. And so often you're like, wow, I've been playing my dice. I have a 1 and a 6 left, which means I either need to win 1 trick or 6 tricks. I've already won 2, so well, guess I need to try and now win 6. And it's like really, really difficult, but I really enjoy it.
Yeah, it's really cool, man.
It's not your first trick taking game, but it is really, really interesting and really good, and I like it quite a bit.
Yeah.
We played Power Vacuum. This was an interesting one.
I like this one a lot.
Yeah, this one was interesting.
This is another trick-taking game. Charlie brought Super Rat Creature, if they're still in chat, brought a bunch of these different kind of trick takers and stuff. Power Vacuum is really interesting. So it's a trick-taking game. And I can't remember the setting is like the dishwasher. One of your kitchen appliances has died. And the rest of you are these like politician, world leader type things, but you're also just like you're an iron or an oven, or like a toaster. So these like weird kitchen appliance dictator things.
It's really weird, yeah.
And you are trying to be the new head honcho of the kitchen, essentially. And so it's trick taking where you're gonna be playing out cards, and the winner of the trick, I think, gets to gain power. There's basically this like circular board with like, if I'm the red player, the red part will be facing toward me and everyone else in there based on where you're sitting at the table. Yeah. And I think if you win the trick,
you get a power, and then it's a plug because everything's appliances, right? Yeah. There's a plug that's on one character and then another character. So if you win the trick, you gain a power, your character does, and then you have to transfer one power along that plug. So you can either take it from this character and move to this character, or you can take it from this character and move to this character.
Yeah.
And then everyone has a card, a secret card that you can reveal, but it basically says, I want the toaster to have the most tricks, and I want the blender to have the least amount of tricks. And so you're trying to
power.
Power. The little lightning bolts. Yeah. And so you're trying to transfer the power to what benefits you the most, which is really interesting. I'm not sure how I did enjoy this one.
Who we play this with says this was a miss for me. I feel like maybe Charlie and I liked it better than y'all, but right. I thought it was really cool, man.
I liked it. I thought it was interesting. I definitely would play it again. Yeah. I don't think I liked it as much as you and Charlie did.
Sure. Yeah, I think the player who had the lowest card in the trick will then move the cord around and stuff. So it's just interesting where you're trying to siphon power around. And the earlier you kind of reveal your bid, the better.
Because basically, if you don't reveal your bid, you have to hit top and bottom. Like this one has the most power, this one's the least. If you reveal your trick, you can basically score either one or both. But then everyone knows what you're going for. It was interesting. It was definitely an interesting one. I'm always down to try like weird trick taking games, and this is a weird one. But it was good.
Is it a sequel to Brave Little Toaster to go bad? Yeah,
pretty much. Yeah,
got traumatized and took over. Yeah,
you played the new Quack.
I did play the new Quack.
Any different than Quacks?
No, it's just graphical updates and stuff like that, with new art, which I think is quite fetching. And
it's very divisive. I like the new art.
Me too. When I first saw this cover, I was just like, nope. And then I went in and started seeing more of the stuff, and then learned about the artist. And then I flipped hard on him, like, because it's very kind of the old like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, Frosty the Snowman, old movies.
Looking,
and I'm like, I actually really dig the look. It's very different, obviously.
And I think it's to a mass audience, it's way more appealing than the old art. And I love Dennis Bohausen.
Which is what they're doing. They're aiming for.
Exactly. If you're trying to put this in like a Target or Barnes & Noble, this is more appealing than the other Quacks. It just is. Maybe not to individual people, but like as a whole, it's more appealing.
But most of those people already have Quacks. They don't need this new version, so it doesn't matter. So same game and everything, which is fun. I hadn't played Quacks in a while. And like, we played it so much over the years that I feel like we sort of like played it out. Yeah. But one thing I got to do when I played this one is we played with the Alchemist expansion and the Herb Witches. The Herb Witches I still love so much. I think it's a great ad. And the Alchemist thing was actually more interesting than I thought it would be. It gives you this kind of, you'll choose like you'll have like a little addition to your board that has different things you can get, certain kind of bonuses and stuff, and that changes from game to game. And that was just kind of like a cool like extra touch. I can't remember all the specifics about how it functions, but it was a nice like extra thing that, similar to Herb Witches, doesn't like get in the way of your main round and what you're doing, but it's a nice little extra thing you can do. So I like the new version. I thought it looked really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was into it.
Yeah,
it was
totally.
cool. You don't need to, if you own the original Quacks, get this one.
Right, yeah.
But if you don't have it, the new one is nice. So,
yeah. Played Subjective.
I did. This is a cool party game.
Yeah.
I like this one. I just played like a round of it.
Yeah, you played a little bit. I think going to the bathroom while you were playing it.
Yeah, but it's a game where you will have a guesser and like a movie or something. So the round I played was Ratatouille was the main thing to guess. And then people are going to take cards from the center going around the table that are going to be like a category. So it might be like a character name or a place or a real life person or something. And you're going to give clues that point to, in this case, Ratatouille.
Yeah.
But within the category of the card you selected. So you have to be like, all right, so I might say Paris if I chose location because that's where it's set. And things like that. And the guesser will try to guess as quick as they can. But then, so say the first person reveals their card and they get the guess, which in ours, our friend Michael was the guesser and got it pretty quick. And then they can go around and just see the category for everything else. And based on the category, make a guess as to what your clue is.
Right, yeah.
Which I thought was really cool.
Yeah.
And so for mine, it was, I think, a food. It was a type of food. So I'm saying I can't put Ratatouille because that's the name of the thing. But what it is, I chose linguine because the main character is, not the rat, but the main human character, his name is Linguini. And it's a food. So I was like, oh, that's kind of a double, maybe I should have done that and stuff. And so you're trying to do things where they can guess what your clue would be. And I thought that was kind of a cool thing where it's not just about guessing the main theme, but now I know the theme, I know the cards they chose, and let's go deeper with it. I thought it was very, very fun.
Cool.
Really, really fun.
Yeah, see, I know I was having a blast.
Really fun party game. Really fun.
Yeah. You got to play the Grand Carnival. I played this a couple months before with our dear friend Charlie, and then
they brought their copy.
Yeah, you got to play it.
Yeah, so
I really like this game a lot.
Yeah, it's very very cool. It's kind of quadropolis-y where you have kind of a 1 through 5, I think, that you're choosing your actions for, and with the 2 you can grab like a size 2 polyomino piece, and you're basically placing out these pieces to create pathways and then kind of green spaces to be able to put attractions.
Yeah.
And this is kind of the sideshow, the kind of carnival leading into a big circus.
This game isn't about a circus. It's about you walking up to
it's
the
about the
circus.
carnival. I mean, as it states.
Indeed.
It's about the carnival in front. So you are trying to build these attractions and stuff, but you need to have pathways between it because you have these guests that you can then move by taking a 4, you move them 4 spaces and stuff through, and then they will, if they are adjacent to 1 or more attractions, they will
essentially do whatever. That's the dart game, right, or whatever. It's like, you're gaining tickets.
They'll gain you tickets and stuff like that, and you're trying to hopefully eventually get them up into the big top itself to score points. And there's just like a lot of fun stuff. There's like various things that score. There's kind of like in-game objectives that might give you like perpetual powers if you get them first. But the puzzle of like it kind of felt like Paris, the City of Lights.
Yeah.
The 2-player game where it's like you're trying to place out these pieces to create a foundation for then you to put a building on top of, because you can't just put them all any old spot willy-nilly. But then again, you have to think about making a pathway for people to actually traverse and see these attractions and cover up as much of your board as possible. So did a lot of really cool stuff.
Yeah, it's got
like
a lot going
quick
on.
one where you're a couple turns in, you're like, oh, we're almost halfway through. I got a lot of work to do.
Yeah, it's
very cool.
It's definitely a quick one, but it's really, really fun. I like it a lot. I thought it was really, really good. And it's just it's a fun little puzzle. And it's got a cool theme, cool look. Like it. We played Top Frog.
Top Frog. Top Frog. You can watch a playthrough.
You can watch a playthrough with Karen, who has not shown up in a video for quite a while.
It's harder when the work isn't at the house.
At the host, yeah, exactly. She'd pop in occasionally. But nowadays, it's harder for her to get here.
But if you want to see my wife, she's in that video.
Indeed.
And we had a fun 4-player game of Top Frog. This is a simultaneous action selection game where you are moving your frogs around these this kind of grid of cards that represents like the pond, and you can either be hopping to the right or north or south or east or whatever, or you can try to do a catch, or you can rest. And you're running the issue of like there's 2 or more frogs on the same card, which are other frogs, so you're stacking frogs. And if we both try to go for a catch at the same time, we kind of squander the opportunity and scare the frog away. And it adds these kind of gnats to the rest of the pond. So you're really trying to get over to certain areas to collect certain frogs. And the whole kind of thing is as you create these stacks, you can have up to 3 in a game. Each frog that's on top of the frogs before has to be equal to or less weight than the frogs that are beneath it. Or at least I should say this frog that is directly that you're covering.
Yes.
Because there's things to do. They can mess with stuff. And so want to start with a big chungus down at the bottom so you can create a nice base,
big foundation
to build these, and you're trying to build up in certain ways to be able to kind of maximize scoring, because there are these various hats that will kind of end your stack, and they're going to give you kind of set collection-y stuff where it's like for every blue you have that's a suit type of frog in your stack, you get +2 points, but you might lose a point for every purple you have. So you're trying to make sure your stacks are sort of synergistic to the
different stuff. There's like one of the frogs, they are going to be like 2 different values, so it makes it easier to stack them. Some just give you like kind of points. Some give you like ongoing powers as long as it's the top frog, but once it gets covered up, that power goes away.
There's
a lot of
trigger
like little
when you
things,
add it to a stack. There's lots of little triggers and stuff which are cool.
Little things that I actually really like this game. I thought it was fun. I like the theme of you just like stacking up these frogs and stuff like that. They're just like,
the art is really cute.
Really cute.
And they're like fantasy frogs and stuff. And so
fairy
it's just
frogs,
kind of
and
silly. But the different types of abilities where it's like, oh man, I want to keep this frog on top of my stack because it has this cool power, but I also need to build the stack at some point. So you have there's a lot of really interesting
kind of tension of being like, I'm here, Mike's here. Are we both going to try and jump to this card? And then,
which inevitably
so you're kind of like,
happen a lot.
Let's not do this. Let's not do this. And so like, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a very fun small game.
Hats up frogs, I gotta try it. And Linnea hit it. It's got like Studio Ghibli kind of style art. It's very appealing.
Yeah. We got to play Trismegistus, the Ultimate Formula, 2nd edition. We always really liked, I didn't really like Trismegistus, the original, because I thought it was
but it was
overly confusing. And a lot of that confusion was just because it didn't look very good. The way they kind of did the graphic design was
hard to parse,
hard to follow and stuff like that. So they came out, I think they recognized, they're like, no, this is a good game. We just need to kind of redo it. So this game has gotten, I think Jimmy asked at one point, he's like, is there any game that's gotten this much of a glow up before? And I'm like, I don't know. The glow up on this one is wild. But this is a game where you are trying to, you're drafting these dice. These dice are going to be these various metals that you are going to be
alchemy.
You're doing alchemy. You're transferring stuff into other stuff. So there's like lead and tin and copper and iron and stuff like that. And then basically you're trying to fulfill contracts.
You're doing like experiments, but it's contract fulfillment.
Basically, So you basically are going to have these cards, which I guess they're called experiments, right? You have these cards that you're mostly, this card you're going to have like 3 like upgraded tin and then 2 lead. And so you have to like alchemy your stuff to get these stuff in a specific spot so that you can spend those to play these cards. There's a whole bunch of different stuff going on. You can kind of get like these
artifacts
that give you more powers and stuff like that. And it's just really good looking. Now, they added a couple more things that I think open up the game a little bit. There's like now this battery that you can tap like once per round that can either give you some of these essences or it can allow you to do some of these transmutes just kind of at any point in your turn. And it just opened up the game a little bit more that I really, really liked it. The original one I really wanted to like, but I just didn't because it just confused me. And this is still a very heavy game. It's still heavy, a really tough puzzle of being like, oh my gosh, okay, I need enhanced iron. I can transmute this into this and then move it over and transmute some more. And it's really puzzling.
And there's extra layers because there's basically 3 colors of dice. And to transmute metals for the kind of leftmost area, the middlemost area, and the rightmost area, the little lines that you transmute across are white, black and red. So if I'm going to transmute across the black lines, the die that I'm using to do that with, which gives you kind of your actions, has to be a matching color. So there's a lot of like stuff where you're like, man, the die I need.
If you want these cards, those cards have a black bar. You have to have a black die to it. So there's a lot of like, oh God, I want this card. Crap, I have a white die. I need a red die to get that card.
There are these tokens you can use to basically make you have a different symbol or a different colored die for a turn, and those make it a little more open.
And I think those are new to this version.
I think they're in the original, but they're much more easy to acquire.
So I really liked this version, though.
Big improvement.
Massive improvement. I really, really liked this game a lot. I'm excited to get a final version of it. Yeah, I mean, it's board and dice. They tend to make games we like. And this was kind of one of the heavier games that was a miss for me. And now it's not that way anymore. So it's like, all right, cool.
So nice.
Yeah, I really, really like
this
this
one. Looks really good. It's not just like, oh, now it's serviceable. And like, no, now it's legitimately beautiful. Like really cool looking. So.
And then here begins Ye Oldie Games. So
Ye Oldie Games.
So now we're going to go through all the games that we have played before. We're going to go through very, very quickly. We can kind of stop if we need to, and stuff like that. And so
Brass also got a big glow up.
Got a big glow up
from the old.
I still feel like this one's bigger, but yeah, that one has got a pretty big glow up as well.
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
I don't know. It's
Carpe
hard to
Diem
say.
started ugly. It's still ugly, so that doesn't count.
No, yeah, this one went from like ugly and hard to play to incredibly pretty and much better to play.
Yeah.
All right, you ready, Mikey?
Let's do it. I'm scared. Age of Invasion, showed to Jimmy. So good. I love that game so much. Apiary, I'm not sure where I'm on it. I think I'm more mid on it now.
Okay.
I think I'm more mid on it now. Played it more kind of like, yeah, it's all right. It's fine. It's fine.
We played Baseball Highlights last week on stream. It's a great game. Still love it.
Reignited my love. Beyond the Sun, really enjoy it. Tech Tree goodness.
I've been playing Bird Cycle at home again. I love this game. I feel like I'm the only content creator who actually likes this game. I freaking love this game.
Hey,
it's every time I play it, I like it more.
League of your own, my dude.
Hey man, I love that game. Oh, Bird Cycle stand.
Cafe, been playing this one.
Yeah,
really cool game. I want to try it physically. I want to pick it up. I think it's really fun.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, neat game.
Can't stop.
Won't stop. I'll never stop.
Never stop. Every month. Same cap flip.
Cap flip. I'll be flipping them captains all day.
Yeah.
Clans of Caledonia, man, I'm playing a couple games 4-player, and I'm just awful. I think I'm
so
so used to playing
like game, you said.
2-player, and I just be getting rolled, man.
Interesting.
But I love this game still.
Yeah, I'm excited for the expansion whenever that comes out. It's gonna be great.
Yeah.
Would you play Conspiracy?
I didn't.
I
don't know how that made it in here.
Conspiracy.
Interesting game.
Interesting game.
Unique game.
Not sure game. Interesting game. I'm not sure how they got here.
Interesting game. Don't know why it's in here.
No, why it's in here. Critter Kitchen. We talked about that earlier.
All right. Okay, hold on. Now we're packed. Daedally, that was a new to us game. I don't know what happened here.
Okay, let's talk about this one.
This one is really interesting. It's a game where you are layering cards to surround this Minotaur. And so the cards you play have to cover up at least partially other cards. And whatever card is on the top of the deck, if it shows like blue or green or whatever, you have to cover up at least one of those squares. And these cards have like, certain sections where there's a wall or a gap and stuff like that. And where you place it, how you rotate it might leave an opening. You're trying to make sure that there's completely surrounded walls for the Minotaur. But then as you go through escalating levels of difficulty, there are other icons on the card. And you have to make sure that there's also a torch in that room.
Yeah.
Or these pillars and stuff. And it was really fun. I like it a lot.
You were saying, it was the Abyss Conspiracy? Did you play that last month?
Yeah, that's what it was.
That's what it was. Abyss Conspiracy.
That one.
Which you enjoyed, indeed.
I was like, what?
Draft Records. I love this game. One of my favorite long rides.
Draftosaurus. Yeah, I know. It's really good, man. Lots of drafting games. Dungeon Pets. It's got to be cleaned up, but it is enjoyable. I played a horrible game of it on BGA.
It's on BGA?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. I
played such a bad game of it.
Oh, really?
I did so poorly.
Yeah. Again, would love a second edition.
Nothing good happened in that game, but I had a fun time. Feast Road on it. You know how I mean.
One of the best to ever do it.
So good.
Was it last month that we did our thing?
Yeah.
It was. Okay, so we'll talk about this one a little bit. We did, if you haven't watched, we did 2 streams because we thought we'd get through it in one stream. We didn't. We played all of, well, I guess technically not all. I mean, Green Laser really wants us to finish it. I'll tell you right now, we're not going to finish it. We're not going to do a whole stream just to finish that one scenario.
No.
But nonetheless, we played through all of it, lost the last scenario, ran out of time, had to stop, but played it all over 2 streams. And boy, howdy. Is this game
really
so... I want to go through the whole thing again. It was so much fun. I had such a good time. I love this game. It's kind of like The Crew, but with a purpose. And that's saying about someone who loves The Crew. It's like The Crew, where it's that cooperative game, but it has really, a story.
Yeah.
And it's a story that I really care about.
Yeah.
And I loved this experience. We played a 3-player play with Jimmy. Watched the live streams of it. It was so much fun. It got real silly there.
Yeah. Yeah, I did.
It was so good.
It was so fun, man. Forest Shuffle, love it. Still such a fun game. Great game.
Galactic Cruise.
Played Galactic Cruise, yeah.
Yeah, we played a 4-player game. It's very late at night, too.
Yeah, we played it with Charlie and
Aldi from BGG.
And Aldi from BGG and taught it to them and stuff, and it was awesome. It was super fun. The final product is just really well put together. Yeah. It's just really nice. So I'm glad we got to play it.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Yeah,
so fun.
Good. It's good.
Gigapolis
Play this with Dads and Dice. Great
you
game.
know it, baby. Harmonies on that. You know how we do it. Love that game. Hutan, also on BGA now. Really fun game. Yeah, really good. It's a Wonderful World.
Top tier. Top tier. It's usually my top 10. We do our top 100. So good, I have 100's not in my top 10 this time.
But that's not like a knock.
Not really. No, yeah.
So good, man.
I freaking love it so much.
I can't see a world where it ever dips out of the top 100.
Yeah.
Leaders is this abstract game I've been playing with Charlie and stuff. It's really fun. Really kind of like, it's not the same, but it's kind of like light War Chest where you're moving pieces around.
Yeah, as you're saying.
But each of your pieces are characters with different abilities, and you're trying to get 2 of your characters next to your opponent's leader. Really cool game.
Yeah.
And you very much have to pay attention to what your opponent's characters are and what they can do, so you don't set yourself up for failure.
You're right.
Really cool game, though. Really cool game.
Absolutely.
Lorenzo I play with Linnea, and I'm so bad at it. I'm just so bad at it.
I've never been a big fan of that game.
My City on BGA, I played through it with Karen, and here's the thing.
Again, you guys played on BGA together?
Yeah. I did so much better. At the end of the game, we had the same prestige. We tied, but in the very last game, she had more of her top column filled, so I lost anyway on the tie break. And I'm like,
you'll never beat Karen.
Can't defeat her.
You'll never beat Karen, ever. No, especially not that game.
My Shelby. Great game.
Great game.
Odin,
great game.
Also lose to Karen all the time, and I can't do better.
Odin mine. Okay, so this was actually new for me. So this probably could have been in the newer area.
Okay.
But this is I was taught this in real time by Matthew Jude, one of our best friends in the whole dang world. Matthew Jude mentioned. And we were kind of waiting to record TGIB, and we were all talking about this. This is this really weird deduction game that
it's really neat.
Where you basically have these shapes in the mountains. So it'll be like a yellow triangle, blue triangle, all these different
like gems.
Gems. And you're basically sending in like sound waves or light waves into the mountain from a specific kind of coordinate. And it's going to go straight. And then basically, if it goes all the way through and doesn't hit any of these gems, it'll basically come back as like nothing. But if it goes straight and hits a flat wall, like one of like the flat side of a red triangle, it'll say this came back as red because it basically bounced right back and it came back as red. And so you're like, okay, so that means there must be a flat red side somewhere in line with that. It might have if it's at an angle, like it's a triangle, it'll go boop and go 90 degrees straight up. So say it came off of 14, but it exited through B yellow. So you're like, okay, so there must have been a yellow slope at B. Yeah. And so basically you're sending in all these waves and figuring out where stuff has to be based off of where the things exit and what colors they are. Because also if it goes like, oh, it came out of here and it was pink, that means it hit red and then hit white and then went out. And so you're like, okay, so this one actually has to be here. In this game, you are, if you're playing a multiplayer game, you're like basically setting up a mine for someone. On BGA, you kind of just play it solo, and I kind of just like that.
Yeah.
Because then it's just a puzzle. You're just trying to figure out. It's also a game you can't technically lose. Well, you can lose. You can't lose if you guess wrong a couple times.
Yeah.
Because you can be like, this is the final thing, and if you're wrong, you can do.
You could just go check this, check this, check this, check this, check this, check all the way around, but that would be very tedious and not very fun. And so it's fun to try to figure out stuff before checking everything out. But it's a really fun.
I thought it was a really interesting deduction game. Yeah, I thought it's a really fun little game.
Yeah.
Patchwork's a great game.
God, I love it so much. It's good.
Patchwork,
dude,
do you have any idea what's going on yet?
Here's the thing, man. I played it a few times, right? I read the rules several times. I borrowed this game from the library just to read the rules physically. So I'm like, oh, it would help if I read it physically.
From the public library.
From the public library, which I need to return that game, by the way.
Yeah, you sure do, Mikey.
And I read the rules, and I know all the things that I think that you can do, and I don't know how to turn it into success at all. I'm like so bad at it. I played it with most recently with Jeff and Charlie, and I'm like, Charlie beats us so fast. And I'm like, I thought I did. I put my
bad game. Probably should stop playing it.
How do I? But I enjoy it. But I'm like, I'm so bad at it. Pirates of Maracaibo played a bunch of games of this. Super fun.
Yeah, you play this all the time. You love this game. Point Salad, great game.
Great game.
All the point games are great.
Fantastic game.
Power Grid. We played Power Grid the first time in a long time.
Yeah.
Long time. We played this with our friend
Jimmy
and Jimmy. It was new to Jimmy.
Thanks, Jeff, for saying that. I'm really good at Pax Premier.
And it's good. I'm still not a big Power Grid stan. I kind of find it boring personally, but I think it's still good. And that's where I stand on it.
Yeah.
I think it's good. I would like to try different maps. I'm curious if they're different. Yeah, I don't know. I still think it's a solid game, and my opinion about it has not changed much.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
I really want to try the Outpost version, the new version.
Yeah.
But
very solid.
It's a classic, man.
Yeah, for sure. Praga, great game.
Praga played a horrible game of it, but I love it a lot. I
love
did
it so
nothing.
much.
Rez, I'd be winning every game I play, and don't let Jeff tell you otherwise.
Boom, baby. Revive.
Revive played a bunch of this. I really like Revive a lot. I'm playing with the expansion too, which is great.
Yeah. River Gold, great game.
River Gold, great game. Fantastic game. Really fun game. Going down the river. Rummy Rami, great game. Really fun game. Love it. So great. So good. Schadenfreude, trick-taking game. That's really interesting. I got to play another game of it.
Yeah, you did.
Where
Nate will be very happy.
Yeah, where you are trying to get to 40 points exactly, and if you can't get to 40 points exactly, you want to get close to 40 points and then push one of your opponents past 40 points, which means they lose and the next highest score wins. And it's a trick-taking game, and the way that you win a trick is to have the second highest card.
Yes.
Very cool, very interesting. You can be very strategically mean, and I like it a lot.
Yeah, it's a good trick. It's a very interesting game.
It's a spicy one.
Spicy meatball. We played Scholars.
Yeah,
yes. We had a play a game with a backer, and they hadn't played the South Tigris games, and so we decided to play Scholars. And man, I really like Scholars. Played a 3-player game of it, Totter, and it was so much fun. I freaking love Scholars South Tigers. I think this game is so good.
It's so good, dude. It's so awesome.
I think it's so good.
SETI.
Played a late night game of SETI.
Wait for the expansion. Oh my gosh, it's gonna be so good.
SETI is.
It's gonna be so good.
SETI is climbing for me, y'all. It's
climbing for everybody. It's already like 50 overall.
Yeah, it's crazy. So I actually hadn't played Stone Architects. This could have been the new one for me.
That's right.
Yeah, this is an interesting game where you're kind of like building out like a
dungeon.
A dungeon, basically, yeah. And you're getting these tiles that are going to have like pathways on them, and they can either be like caves or something like that, or like dungeons. And then you're basically building out, you're trying to build from your entrance to your exit.
Ideally, yeah.
Ideally, and then there's all these other scoring conditions you can get. Because on these tiles, there's a bunch of different monsters. You might want very specific stuff. You might want stuff that has like traps on it and stuff. And so you're getting these tiles, drafting out these smaller tiles that you can add to your bigger tiles, and you're basically trying to score these various scoring conditions that are out there. I really, really liked it. I like this world too. This is the cartographer's kind of world and stuff like that. And I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really, really good.
Yeah, I think this game is super fun.
Yeah, I think it's underrated. I think it's really, really good.
Yeah.
Really, really good.
Castle Burgundy, on it, loving it.
Indeed.
White Castle. Oh, amazing. Still so good. Love that game
Rocky
so much.
B playing it.
Thunder Road played an awesome, raucous game
We played
where no one made it. In this game, it's like if it's a racing game, we can blow each other up, and then as you get to the end of the board, you you bring in a new board, and you kind of do this. We never made it to this point. Everybody died. I died very quickly.
Mikey died very quickly. We played a 6-player game of this.
Yeah. It was crazy.
So that means you had to play with the 4 main characters. And you had to play with the big rig expansion. You also had to play with the motorcycles. I was playing as the motorcycles.
Yeah.
The entire job as motorcycles is that you can drift through and not slam people. I slam people every freaking turn. Yeah. That's all I want in this game is the most chaos possible. And we got that because 6 players is a lot. I don't know if I'd want to do 6 players again. I think 4, because there's just there are so many cars, and especially because the second tile was like the narrow channel.
Like narrow canyon. And I think
it was just insane.
I think 5 or 6 cars died via going into the rocks on the canyon, and it was fantastic.
It was so much fun, y'all. Thunder Road is maybe the most fun game ever made. Not necessarily the best game ever made, but in terms of pure fun, if you're down to get with the chaos, I don't know if there's a more fun game in the world than Thunder Road.
Down with the chaos.
I don't know if there is. It's so much fun.
Linnea, I agree about Stone Spine Architects. The only thing that's missing is more of the things that let you connect your stuff.
Yes.
There's like 2. I looked through it.
Yeah.
Physically, there's only like maybe 3 of those. I'm like, there needs to be a lot more of these.
Yeah.
My paths are bad. Time Towns is on BGA, everybody, with all the expansions too. It's sitting in alpha right now. I enjoy the game. It's been a hot minute since we played it.
Man, we got rid of it. Yeah, I think I would like to own it.
But I am glad to be able to play it via the internet.
Village Rails, played this at a VGCon. Still so good. Played this with Panda and
Mick.
Yeah, it was great. Good times. I love this game so much.
I love it.
Viticulture. Previous number 1.
Amen. Too bad it's trash now. It says trash as you trash.
Hot take. I think it's going to be out of my top 10.
As it should be.
Next I think it's going to be out of my top 10.
Yeah, probably. Probably, but it's a good game, man. It's a classic. It's a classic.
Yeah, I love Viticulture. You're always playing Zenith. Whatever.
It's so good, dude.
You won't play with me, so.
You won't play with me.
You won't ever play with me.
We need to get it physically. I think it's available now.
Yeah.
I think it's available.
Oh, is it really?
I think so.
Zenith apparently is very good.
Oh, it's so good, dude. It's so fun. That's it, everybody. That's our list.
Lord of the Board, we did discuss Ahoy and Molly House earlier. Well, actually, don't watch the Ahoy one. Mike doesn't know how to play that game.
I don't know how to play it, man. Can you teach me? I clicked around on BGA and I did not know what was happening.
We did talk about Molly House earlier.
Molly House is amazing.
It's very good. It should be a pure co-op game. Fight me.
I don't disagree.
Yeah.
We were talking about is like, oh, maybe there'd be like an expansion where it just makes it does make it.
Or you could literally
co-op.
just play the game as a co-op. You don't even need extra content.
Well, I think
it's a co-op. We're
yeah,
play
I
it
think
that way.
Lene or someone was saying like I would just house rule and co-op it, and like we were talking about that too. I'm like, you could absolutely do that.
It'd be very easy to just house rule a co-op game out of it. It wouldn't be very hard.
Yeah.
Basically, like the community gets to hear, and
everyone else needs to get to a certain
threshold, and there you go. And to me, that I think the game was amazing though.
Yeah.
So okay, now we'll do a little Q&A if you all got it. There was, I know, one early on question, so we're kind of going through. Oh yeah, Evan asked, so I'm going to my friendly local game store tonight with eyes on set on Civolution and SETI for solo play. I know they're both longer, but I'm worried Civ might be too long. Any thoughts? I have not played SETI solo yet, but I've heard it's very good solo. I really like Civolution's solo. Yeah. It's kind of a big solo, but once you get a couple turns in and you understand how they work, I think it's great because then you can just focus on what you're doing, and then you take their little turn real quick, and then you focus on what you're doing. Here's the, I don't know. If it's only for solo play, I can't really say because I haven't played SETI solo.
I would maybe suggest...
I don't know if I can honestly answer this question.
I would maybe suggest SETI purely because I think you can set up SETI a little faster. Probably. And get going a little quicker.
Yeah, probably.
But yeah, I've soloed Civolution and really enjoyed the solo of that as well.
Yeah, I think they're both great.
And we've heard, haven't tried it, but have heard good things about it. I would maybe go SETI because setup is a factor.
Yes.
And if you can get going a little quicker, that might be enough.
And I've also heard the solo SETI is really good. Yeah. So,
yeah, I would maybe do that.
Yeah, we'll say. I think that was the only question I remember that we missed.
Oh, someone asked, have we played the World of Warcraft?
Oh, yes.
And we played...
you played Star Wars.
Yeah. And we've both played the World of Warcraft version. And I don't have any ties to World of Warcraft at all. And I really like that version because of what you're doing is really cool. And you really like the Star Wars. I picked it up, but we haven't played it together.
Yeah, we still haven't played it yet. So. I like all the Pandemics, honestly. There hasn't been one that I have. I don't think I tried the Rising Tides one, whatever that one is. But all the other ones I've played, I like them all. I liked the WoW one was pretty different. Now with like Lord of the Rings, I'm like, man, if you played a normal Pandemic and then this, you wouldn't even be like, oh, this is the same system. It really kind of isn't at this point. WoW one was good. I just don't have any connection to WoW. The Star Wars, the Clone Wars one, though, I really liked. So much so that I picked it up and I've been wanting to show Mikey it because it is, I thought it was really fun. But, yeah, so that was, they're both good. Again, I like all the Pandemics. I thought they've all been different and interesting. And yeah, I thought they've all been really, really cool. And so,
whoa.
I think
are we going to get a Zenith Garcia promo? We should do.
Jeff and Sam are arguing. Okay. Would you consider doing underrated expansions video, for example? More visitors for Viticulture is great. More visitor cards co-designed by Uwe, but only Tuscany gets talked about.
Sure.
Maybe. Yeah. I mean, or like, especially that, like, I would love to, I don't know. I'm trying to think if there's enough of them, but I would love to do like small expansions that pack a big punch, like because like something like the more or even like the Rhine visitors for like Viticulture are great.
Yeah.
Something like Prelude for like Terraforming Mars.
Do you think it's underrated?
No, I'm not saying underrated. I'm saying I would like to do a video about small expansions that pack a punch.
Oh my bad. Yeah.
Because Prelude's a small expansion, but massively changes that game, in my opinion. There's of course the backstage expansion for Shakespeare, which we talk about all the time. Yeah, dude. But like I think that's an interesting thing, being like, here's these big expansions which are great, but also here's like a little expansion that like shakes stuff up a little bit in a really kind of big way, which I think would be interesting.
Yeah.
Underrated expansions probably could. We also, I feel
we're not as expansion forward anymore. That is, if you ever considering becoming a content creator, just know that expansions become largely irrelevant because you're never going to have time to play them.
Honestly,
so you just don't think about it that much.
Hot take. I think that's true for most hardcore gamers as well.
I do think you're right.
Yeah.
But I'm always excited when they come out. If it's for a game I love, I'm like, ooh, because I just want more of that goodness.
Jess said, Root, I have a copy, but I'm debating getting rid of it unopened because of how much of a teach it is. We have never played it, but some of the reviews have me less interested now. I would play it digitally.
Yeah, get rid of it and get the digital.
Yeah, because you can still play that with friends, but it can guide you through it a little easier. I would play it.
Because for each faction, there are tutorials that take you through how that faction works.
Yeah.
And that is dope. And so you can be like, hey, let's set up a game for Friday. You're going to be this, you're going to be this, you're going to be this. Everyone go through your tutorials, get it down and stuff like that. You can play against digital opponents, robots or whatever. Yeah, we've never looked back. As soon as Root Digital got announced, I got rid of Root.
Yeah, that's actually very true.
And it took a long time for it to finally come out, but I was just like, I'm not going to need this anymore.
I'll play digitally all the time.
Yeah.
Yep. And so I would say
such a good app.
If you don't think you're going to play it, sell it. And then get the digital version, have your friends get the digital version. You can play there, or you can play it solo against the bots, which are very good. So it's like, I would just play digital. It's one of those games that I'm like, cool. I don't need to play this physically anymore because I just won't. I would rather play against bots because I'm never going to win. I'm just going to get destroyed. So I'm like, I want to play against a robot, please.
Sren, I don't know if that's how it's meant to be said. Seti, pray that there's intelligent life out there because I'm afraid we've been cheated here on Earth. I'll tell you what, man.
Sure feels like it, right?
What number one game? What number one game is a red flag that you're probably not compatible in a game group with someone? Oh, like what's the number one game? Like if someone rolls up like I've got everything for Smash Up, we're gonna get down till the dawn comes. I'm like, nah.
Oh yeah. So what game?
Is that what you mean?
Do they love? I don't know. I don't like.
I mean, it wouldn't make me a red flag by that person. I don't know, but yeah, I'd be like, I don't want to do that though. I don't want to play that.
So in a gaming group. I mean, I guess maybe if all they wanted to play or bring was social deduction games, let's play Resistance. Oh, let's play Coup. Let's play because I can do one of those games in an evening, and even then, most evenings I don't even want to play one of them, but I could do one of them. That would be. I don't know if there's because even someone loves. There's a lot of people in our community that love Smash Up. We really don't.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know if there's a singular game that if someone brought up, I would be like, not going to play with this person. It would probably have to be a series of games where they're they seem to only want to play these games. I'm like, all right, or if they really only ever wanted to play super interactive, we're going to be, let's play ARCs over and over and over kind of thing. I'm like, then I'm like, cool, we're just, I'm not going to have a good time. We're not going to play well together.
ARCs more like barfs.
Got them. Yeah, because I don't know. I don't think personally there's a specific game.
Evan says, I've heard that matcha is a necessary expansion for White Castle. I do not agree with that statement.
I massively disagree with that.
I don't think it's necessary.
I don't think it's necessary at all.
I enjoy it, but I also enjoy the base game just fine as it is. Here's the thing. Once that expansion hits BGA, it's on like Donkey Kong. But yeah, necessary, I wouldn't. Here's the thing. That's nice, is it gives you 3 more turns in the game, which doesn't sound like a lot, but that's a quarter more game you get.
It really is.
Because you have 4 turns instead of 3 per round. And that can be really nice. The thing I found, and I've only played Matcha 2 or 3 times, is there's also new ways to score points, and so it dilutes my strategy, so I play worse with it.
Right.
Because I'm like, well, let me try this. I'm like, no, still need to be focused.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wouldn't say it's necessary.
It's good, but yeah, I do not agree that it is necessary at all. Do you ever play Lorcana considering set 8 is now available? No, we don't play CCGs at all.
Time or money for that.
Yeah, don't get the time, don't get the money. Collecting CCGs and stuff like that is a whole other hobby, which is a wonderful hobby, but it's not a hobby I personally have any interest in.
Yeah, same.
Personally, it's just, so no. When Lorcana came out, I was like, I'm hyped for the people who are hyped about that. Yeah. And I will never, ever pick up a set of Lorcana because I'll never play it. I don't really care about it.
I like the idea of cracking packs, and I will watch other people crack packs. I was watching Jeff crack packs.
Yeah.
yesterday. But yeah, no, it's
Yeah,
not.
it's
And
not
the thing
something
about
that I
Arcana is cool is like the art is really
Yes.
cool and it's not something we
Yes.
like. So I'd be more inclined to go that direction, but it's just don't have the time or the interest. Maybe if like Logan really wants to get into it someday, I would do it with her.
Yeah, for sure. Like, but yeah, it's 1v1 card games are not a kind of game that I'm interested in general. And so all of those CCGs have no real interest to me at all. I love the art, but I don't care about Lorcana personally.
Yeah.
Um,
says, as Mike said, the Call of the Abyss expansion for Revive is great. It changes some things in pretty cool ways. I totally agree. I think the expansion's fantastic in that, and I would want to play with it every time because it gives you other things to do, which are super cool. Yeah. Been enjoying the expansion on that. Linnea says, funny enough, I showed Root to Matt digitally, and he loved it so much he got it physically. We mostly play the co-op together against 1 or 2 AI. Oh, that's
How
really
is
cool.
that?
Is that a cool way to play?
Because I've always heard the co-op is
And I think it's a fantastic way to get into Root. And like the app, I don't know, is $15, $10, whatever it is, wherever you get it. And then you can play and learn it. And then if you then want to get into it physically, that's great because like that game requires investment to be able to learn the characters and stuff. But if you've already done some of that and you know you want to go deeper, then that's a great way to go. I would go that way instead of getting the game physically first. Like, see if you're going to like this. Enough to play it multiple times, which is what it will require.
Cool. So why is it called a round? Is it because you go around in turn order? What about a 2-person game? Is that a line?
Ooh,
what else would you call it? A round?
Mind right now.
I think it's because lots of things like boxing has rounds, right? I think it's just an accepted term. I don't know.
Yeah, but it's funny because like the going around a table at least makes a little more sense because you were going around, and so in a boxing it's like, how did round become that term? What's the etymology of that word?
Interesting. Evan said, not a board game question. Either face/run into the Balrog with the Fellowship or try to get through Shelob's Lair solo. Balrog all day. I don't want to be in Shelob's Lair. I feel like I'd have a better chance against the Balrog.
I think with the Balrog, at least the death will be swift.
Yeah, and it's less like, at least then you're in Moria, which is like open and very cool and stuff like that. Yeah. Also, you're with the Fellowship, so you have like a chance. Shelob alone in any capacity.
Because as the way she gets Frodo, dude, she's really quiet, dips down, boosh, and I'm like,
absolutely not. No. Absolutely not. No, Shelob's Lair is,
you know what I mean?
I think they did a good job in the movie making that thing gross and terrifying. I'm like, absolutely not. So, no thank you. Said, the 8-hour streams are great. Voting for a 12-hour Primal The Awakening one next.
That'd be cool. Like, if they want to get down the line a little bit with that, get leveled up.
Those ones are usually sponsored because we don't. The live streams want to do most of your just individual plays of stuff, and we've done a couple things like big like that. But I like Primal The Awakening, so if they wanted to hit us up and do a partnership, I'd be down. I don't know if we do that one on our own because that's those 12-hour streams are a lot to do. I'm not gonna lie, y'all.
Imagine Landscapes has a point that leads me to a rant, okay? The what you say is, but turns are different than rounds. Yes, they are. And sometimes in board games, they call like a round and they make it seem like the way they're using it is they are using it as if it is a turn. So they'll be like, this game's broken up into eras, which are just rounds, okay? Yeah. And then it's like a round. Be like, no, that's a turn.
Yeah.
And I think like if we could, this hobby of ours, this industry is way too immature for this in terms of like its organization level. But I'm like, we need a standardization of terms because most of the time you say a turn and you take 4 turns in a round. And because they're doing like thematically, like it's an epic and it's this, and I'm like, no, if you say round but you mean turn, it's just going to freak out your mind.
I agree. Some kind of like joint coalition with all the publishers be like, hey, let's get our terminology in play. There are 8 rounds. Rounds have phases. Your turn is like, this one, right? It's like we really need like we all need to agree to say things like this. Because it makes it very confusing. Sometimes you're like, wait, hold on. Does that mean this? When you read a rule, you're like, it says end of round. Does that mean the end of my turn? Or does that mean the end of the era?
Yeah. Oh, they're just talking about turns. Okay, well, this is weird. Like, Yeah, I can't think of like a concrete good example, but there's times where I'm like, just say phases, you know, or whatever, so we know what we're talking about. Like, how macro or micro are we getting within the game or a specific turn structure or whatever?
Yeah.
Standardize it.
Yeah,
For the love of God.
we really need some standardization with terminology, because there's sometimes you're just like, okay, wait, in this game, what does that mean? Like, it's just like I'm like, oh my god.
The way that it'll show up is like, this game has 4 eras. Within it will be several rounds. I'm like, no, the era here is standing in for round. So you need to say turns. If you're going to make this thing the thematic thing, then call this a turn, not a round, because then it implies that there are turns within the round, within the era.
It's so, so true. It's so true. It really is. Or just like
if you're rule books for a living,
tapping a card, most games will say exhaust, but not every game says exhaust.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, let's all say when you do this to a card, you're exhausting it, right? Or tapping if you want to go Magic the Gathering, whatever. Yeah. Whatever it is, just choose one and keep it.
Another big one that messed up you and Jimmy the other day is discard. And I understand discard is not a really clear term.
Yes.
Nick and Jimmy were playing the El Paso version of Great Western Trail. And there's these action cards you get, and it says to discard them. This is a deck building game, so I blame them for this mistake, to be honest. But when they were playing them, they were discarding it to the market.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, discard it to your discard pile. And if that's a case where there could be that unclarity, you need to say discard and trash or exile.
Yes.
Something that shows permanent go away or discard to my discard pile. You have to add in another term to differentiate these things, or at least add in discard here means to your discard pile, you will use this again later, lest people make the mistake. Because discarding here to my discard pile or putting it over here, you can say discard for both of those things. Because again, it's a term that is variable and not super clear.
Yeah.
So you got to add extra language around that to make sure, like, this is what we mean when we say this. And that's a fault of English being strange. So.
And I don't think tapping is I don't think it's trademarked anymore. It was. I don't think it is anymore, but I could be wrong about that. I don't know. I don't play Magic.
Tap your cards. Come after me, Magic. What are you going to do?
What are you going to do?
What are you going to do with your unlimited funds? What are you going to do?
Yeah, it's here's the thing. Really what it is like board games need editors. And there are some board game editors, but like there needs to be like a team. There needs to be someone who creates like a little company of like 2 or 3 people, and you send your board game rulebook to them, like your finished one, to say like, hey, standardize this. Yeah. And they can go back and forth, but like there really should be a service for that to be like, hey, let's standardize this so that everything is the same. Because someone said like, yeah, what about like discarding versus cycling? Sometimes, right? It's like, maybe, can be very, very confusing. And so, I
like discard and exile or trash.
Exile, yeah, I think exile is more. I like trash as like a
exile
personal
is more
thing.
Thematically satisfying.
Well, and it's just like, also I think it's more across. Like I don't.
There's a lot of games.
Tell me if I'm wrong, but like, do people in Britain say you would trash something? I feel like trash is
you're gonna bin it in it.
You're gonna bin it in it. I feel like trash is specifically an American thing. But I could be wrong about that. But so I would say exile because I think that is more universally understood, is my guess.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a whole thing. I totally agree that we need some standardization in a lot of things. There's also standardization with
Banish is also
graphics.
Great, Jimmy,
Like we always joke, like, what does this mean in a game? This almost always means income, right?
Is always income.
Always income. Which at this point, that always means income. But there's just certain things where I would say one that's standardized is if something has a lightning bolt on it, that means instant effect.
Yes.
Right? So
we have a decent amount of that.
There's a couple of them, but I would like to see a couple more of like standardization amongst graphic design. I think would be great. But yeah, so it's
I'll also make most things do this already, but if ever there's like a pay this to gain that, I want an arrow. Give me an arrow. This thing over here leads to this.
Yeah, that's fair.
Sometimes it's like a colon, and I get it. I'm with it. I can pick it up, but I'm like, let's just go ahead and standardize that with an arrow.
Yeah.
This leads to that.
Yeah.
Part A gives part B. I prefer Banish to exile. Yeah, Banish is good. Banish is good. Yeah. Trash means very different. Legacy, you gotta be careful. You gotta be careful.
Charlie said, the new Star Trek Captain's Chair game drives me crazy with the difference between take and gain. because that's also based off the Imperium system, which I also think their keywords are confusing because they have like gain and take, they have banish, and they have recall, and there's like a lot of stuff where I'm like, man, these are all very similar things that do different things in the game, and I'm just like,
and once you get going with it, then you're like, all right, cool, now I know. Recall means put it in my Discord file, but like, I'm not
really surprised that Star Trek Captain's Chair has the same problem.
Yeah, same people.
Because it's a similar thing with that. Where sometimes I'm like, man, this is there's like reclaim and recall. Those are two different things.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, which one is which? So yeah.
Jimmy makes a good point. The infinity symbol is usually like perpetual power. That's always on now, which is great.
There's a couple of them, and I think graphic design wise, we're getting decent. We're kind of like, oh, I know what this one does, but I still wish there's a little bit more standard.
They're not always standard, but there's usually also a fairly clear like arrow with a line, and that's like this is an end game thing, which I appreciate as well.
Yeah, or a flag.
Flags.
Is always
the flags are common. Yeah, there's an end game scoring.
So who needs a board game Rosetta Stone? Yes.
Yes, basically, yes. We had a player aid that didn't give what the symbols meant. They just gave their names, which I felt could have been clear. Yeah, if we're in ranting, my other favorite thing that Nick also hates is if a card says, hey, it's this thing, and it's unclear, and you go to the rule book and see word for word same thing, and I'm like, why'd you put it in the rule book then? You're just wasting ink. Give more context.
You want me to be absolute rage quit your game?
Cubito's rule book.
Have an entire section of your rule book that's literally just exactly what it says on the card. With absolutely no more clarification.
My thing is
I'm like, what was the thought process behind this?
What could possibly be the purpose of that?
Yes.
What could possibly be the use of that?
Who needs this?
of a page taken up? Because the only time, no one's ever just like, let me go through the glossary of this rulebook of the game I haven't played. Let me just play these terms real quick. No, it's a reference from something else.
Yeah.
This leads to this.
It's like more clarity. That's the one to me that like I will lose my mind over. And it happens so often. It's the exact same text. I'm like, this doesn't, what was the point of this? You're wasting, I don't know.
Like, because like it would be less work to just not put it in there at all.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Some work.
That's what I'm saying.
You did work to do nothing.
Yeah, it's.
I'm getting upset.
It's ridiculous. Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
I'm calm.
So Prodigals Club has some funky icon, and I can't remember what it is. Equals means to change to, something to do with an arrow. My memory is bad. Yeah, Prodigals Club. I mean, that's why my Prodigals Club video, like I go through a whole section. I'm like, this part isn't very good. Just like I don't care. It's my favorite game. Yeah, but again, that's an older CGE game. I feel like CGE games have gotten a lot better. We talked about Alchemist and Dungeon Pets earlier, and it's like that was kind of that era, and they've cleaned up a lot of their stuff because of the fact that it's some of the stuff is confusing. Or my thing is, it's like, okay, here's the thing, y'all. You want to absolutely like where we need some absolute standardization is red color money things versus green color. What's a discount? What's gains? There's so many different ones with that, particularly like Great Western Trail, I feel like reverses it when no one else does, where it's like, it says -3 and it's red. It's like, does that mean it's a discount or are you paying more?
It's in red, which usually means more cost, but it's a minus, which seems less cost.
So it is more cost. It is, yeah.
Because you will lose more money by taking this. It's insane.
I knew Great Western Trail was coming. It drives me crazy. It's backwards and it makes me... Also, one thing, y'all, and everyone does this, but Great Western Trail doesn't. It drives me crazy. We all agree. If you have 3 sets of money, the bronze coppery looking ones are the lowest value. The silvery looking ones are the medium value. And then the gold looking ones are the top value. If it's like 1, 3, 5, 1 is going to be the coppers, silver is going to be the middle, and then the highest one is going to be the gold one. Great Western Trail, the copper and the silver one are switched.
Yeah.
And it drives me crazy.
It's willfully trolling at this point.
Oh my gosh.
Because you know they've gotten emails about that. Like it's the reason why the person in third place in the Olympics doesn't get to hear their national anthem, all right? Because they didn't win.
Like this is a worldwide thing, I feel like. Because the Olympics alone, right? It's like it's gold, silver, bronze, or bronze, gold, silver, you know what I'm saying? Bronze, silver, gold, right? It's like, it's third place, second. It's like that one, particularly Great Western Trail, makes me lose my mind. The fact that the silver and the copper one are switched, Oh my gosh, it drives me crazy.
It's weird, man.
But yeah, it's a weird thing. It's there's a lot of standardization I think would be good. And for the most part, 80% of the time, things are pretty darn similar, right? But it's those times where you're just like, oh gosh, this is going to be confusing because I'm used to this being the other way.
Yeah.
We had that kind of talk recently with a publisher for whose game we were covering, and we were basically saying that, like, hey, these two terms that you're using, usually they're the other way. And then we kind of talked, they were like, yeah, we did it this way on purpose. So they had a reason for doing it. We were kind of like, you might want to change that because this usually means this, and this usually means this, and you reverse those. And so it's like
confusing.
But yeah, it's one of those things, right?
Torres makes a good point. Player age should be standard in a game, and there should be one for every single player in the game.
I feel like everyone believes that. I mean, at this point. Because even if you don't need the player age, still make one. Just make one anyway. Make one anyway.
It can't possibly hurt.
Anyway. Also, have your player aids actually mean something. Don't have a bunch of symbols that are confusing.
Also, for my money, and a lot of games do this, the Garfield games all do, back of the rule book, common symbols and their meaning. Like icons.
Yeah. Well, we've talked about this on a live stream before.
It's nice.
I think the most valuable real estate in a rule book is the back page.
Yeah.
So
when the back page is open, the back cover outside.
Which, if that is nothing but like art, I'm like, you are wasting. Yeah. You are wasting so much real estate
it's
here.
It's a
and you can just leave it face up over there, but that means this. The back page, most valuable real estate.
Every time I don't have to crack open the rule book to get info and I get on the back, I'm like, thank you. Or sometimes I'll do like quick setup rules, quick reminder of the turn structure, any of that stuff. I'm like, dude, make use of all of that space.
Yeah, it's yeah. So that's many various rants on
Mason Pierce. Bad joke. Don't make that joke again.
Absolutely terrible joke.
That's an awful joke.
And yeah, so that's our rants on that. If anyone's got the second questions here, we'll answer. If not, we'll get on out of here.
Jimmy, I love a turn structure reminder. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Also, if you can put it somewhere like on a player board. I was playing Unstoppable the other day. We'll talk about next month. And on there, it's like, especially if on like your player board or somewhere it's very convenient where you already need that thing on the table, have like a upkeep phase is da-da-da-da. If you can. Sometimes you can't because of the art or whatever, but if you can't put it like right there.
Do 1, 2, and 3
I'm like, wow, perfect. Thank you so much to have that right there. I can always be like, oh, wait, what I do? Oh, that's right. It's this thing. Oh, boom, boom. And so I really enjoy that.
Jess says, I think a quick overview guide for when it's been a while since you've played a game and allow the players to jump back into it, dislike having to relearn every time. Yeah. Sometimes you just need the thing to jog your memory, and that's kind of like we don't make it for this purpose, but it's the idea of like with our overviews that go into our playthroughs, it's that kind of idea where it's like, we're not going to teach you the whole game, but we will give you a sense of the things you're going to do. And I assume that something like that would serve that purpose well. It's like, okay, in 4 minutes, I can jog my memory. Maybe I look up a couple of specifics and we're good to go. It's nice when you can just like quickly jump back into. I think
it's really, really nice. Said, been playing Gloomhaven Buttons and Bugs solo and been having a blast. Have you guys played any of the Gloomhaven? We played all of the original Gloomhaven.
Yeah.
We have Buttons and Bugs. I really want to play it.
I have it in my house.
Great.
I brought it with me on camping trips and everywhere, and I keep almost cracking it and then playing it. I know it's like quick and stuff. I have no reason to not have played it.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll try to do that this weekend. Yeah. Maybe tomorrow Logan's doing a more day, so maybe I can take a little time to do that because like I really want to, and I know I'll like it, and so it's just hasn't. I'm just like,
been wanting to though.
Yeah.
You guys have any current favorite party games for friends who don't play games very often? Flip 7 has been doing well, but looking for others. Flip 7 is kind of my kind of go-to at this point too.
I really like Fun Facts.
Fun Facts
I think it's really fun because
So Clover is always our kind of go-to. To be completely honest,
So Clover is the best.
So Clovers are always our
go-to. If you like clue giving games in particular, that one can get really funky and cool. Love So Clover, but yeah, those Fun Facts, So Clover, Just One's always great. Flip 7 is just a raucous great time.
Yeah, Just One's great. Any of those kind of games where it's like you're playing the group more than like the game, like So Clover, where you might be giving specific clues to people or something like that, where it's like that's what matters more than anything else. Flip 7 is such a good choice because it's just so easy to get played. It's so easy to teach. It's just like it's one of those games that you can just play with literally anybody. And so
Michael says, probably not realistic or even necessary for every game, but I love a big old index that goes into detail on different cards or resources. Looking to you, Feast for Odin. Uwe is the king. Uwe often has games that have like 300 cards now. And they're all, Dewey Decimals, basically. There's an icon or whatever, a listing, and you can go right to it. And it is so
My
nice.
thing is, it's like,
especially
again,
for like Oranienburg Canal, where you really need to reference those things.
Yeah, and it's like, awesome. I guess unless you need, if it's going to cost you adding 10, 20 pages to your rulebook, that will increase the cost of your game, right?
Sure.
But it's like, if it's not going to be a massive cost, have a glossary with over-explaining things, because it won't hurt. At the very, very least, it'll be like, oh, cool, I just don't need that. I'm just not going to read that part of the rulebook, right? It's like, to me, it's like, always do it, because it doesn't hurt you to do it unless it's going to cost way more, which adding a page to the rulebook is not going to massively increase the cost of a game as a whole. So it's like, to me, it's like, always do it, because there's just no downside except for the work you had to put into it. But like, that's part of making a game, right? So it's like, always, I was gonna say, always over clarify. That's not always true. You can get too in the weeds with stuff but it's like, there are certain rule books we've had to read for, like, we're doing like rules videos for BGG, where I'm like, this paragraph could have been a sentence. Like, you did not need to explain this much. This paragraph could have been a sentence, which is why rulebook editing should be more of a thing. It is somewhat of a thing, but it should be more of a thing.
Yeah. Mason says they recently got a game about the asbestos industry, and there's a whole page about the types of asbestos and why it's bad for humans. It do be bad for you, but it is useful in certain circumstances if you don't inhale it.
I have to say, it did not entice my friends to play it. Yeah.
You have to be like, well, the game isn't made of asbestos. It's just referencing.
I love games that are like, here's a whole... Yeah. Talking about Uwe, like we just picked up the Fields of Arl expansion, and there is a like 30-page book about just that region of Germany. And I'm awesome. Like, Uwe, you are a wild man.
Yeah, I'm
sir.
like, that's great. It's just like, maybe you want to read the history of this, go for it. And like, thank you. I would like to. Yeah.
So this meeting could have been an email. Yeah, there's sometimes in rule books I'm like, you could have said that more succinctly.
Yeah.
But I would say more often than not, there's just like not enough like clarification. Where like, I don't really know. Y'all, give me a little bit more information.
Charlie says, anyone else like to relax in the tub with a sack of rule books? Just me? That sounds like a great time.
Sounds great. I love reading rule books, y'all.
All in on that.
Freaking love reading rule books.
Yeah, all in on that. That sounds fantastic. Yeah, I bring games home with me all the time.
Just to read the rule book.
Fully knowing that like it probably won't get played there, but I can just sit back with a rule book. I love it. So in the bath, that's just two great things coming together right there.
Yeah, it's cool.
Y'all get the Grand Austria Hotel expansion yet? No, but Jimmy has it, so that's why we haven't gotten it. And we keep talking about trying to get time the three of us maybe together to play some of the modules, but it hasn't happened yet. But it will.
Yeah, exactly. So I love rulebooks have thematic explanations for things that makes teaching the game and learning the game much easier, like Barcelona and how they explain the historical context.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's really cool.
Totally agree.
My thing is like, why not, right? Especially if your game is thematic, like it's just interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
this meeting could have been a board game. The Story of Kanban.
Pretty much.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
All right, y'all. I think we're gonna head on out. Thank you so much for being here. We love you all to death.
Yeah, real quick, Mason just says, I love the rule books for the Winsome games. The Cube Rail ones are always like 1 or 2 pages. Yeah, Cube Rail games
very simple.
Very simple in terms of like how they work. And so, they're always just like, oh, that's the whole, okay, got it. That's the whole thing.
That's it right there.
Which I'm like, I didn't know that about Cube Rail games, so we played our first one. I was like,
we just picked up Iberian Gauge. I'm just about to try it.
Oh, dope. These games are very easy to get into.
Yeah, really.
So I like those games.
Check out the videos coming out. We're going to have a playthrough coming out after this for Raising Chicago. Again, I talk about a theme that I didn't know anything about, but there is like some blurbs in the rulebook, which I thought was very cool.
To get sanitation, they raised up Chicago, literally like a whole story and stuff, and you can read about it in the Dresden Files. They talk about it in Insto. All right, cool.
That's right.
Let's show you the Dresden Files, everybody.
Okay. All right, everyone. We'll see y'all later. Have a great rest of your day. Well, bye.